Hey Maker, Emily here, otherwise known as That Mom with a Laser and the brand ambassador for Eon Laser USA. And in today's video, we are going to take things back. About 2 years ago, I made a tutorial on how to shape wood like I did in this sign. In that video, I showed you guys different techniques for shaping, but I didn't actually show you how I assembled this sign right here. And see how you've got, you know, the leaves are on the bottom layer, and then these leaves get a little thicker, and then these are thicker, and so on. So I found the footage, and I just figured, you know what? It's pretty good. Let's share it with the world. Now, a few things here as I look back. This is back in the day when I was still working out of my garage and my spare bedroom, and you can definitely tell as you watch the video, it's not as clear and methodical as the stuff that I put out for you today. But I still think it's going to be very helpful for anybody that wants to create a sign like this one. There are a couple of things that I would do differently if I were to remake this sign. For example, let me get close up and show you guys. If you see here, I was trying to be lazy and save time, and I didn't actually cut out each little circle here for the center. I would totally cut them out now and shape each little circle. And I don't know if the video really shows it as well, but you can see that the paint is kind of fading, and I even lost some paint right there over time. It got scratched. I did not protect it with a sealant. And honestly, I think that has to do with the quality of the spray paint that I was using at the time. As you guys know now, I really only like to use better spray paints, and you can learn more about them in this video here. But overall, I think the video is going to be helpful, and I hope you guys enjoy it. One more thing, this is definitely a technique for somebody using a laser, meaning you're not really cutting it with a scroll saw or any kind of saw for that matter, and you don't have like a massive laser that can cut really thick wood, okay? So in this scenario, we are cutting different thicknesses between 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 inch, even gluing them together to create pieces that look thicker than they really are. All right, so are you ready? Let's go.
Okay guys, so I have decided that I am going to make this poinsettia out of 4 layers, okay? But I'm going to make it with 3 different thicknesses of material. I have 1/8 of an inch that I plan to use for the leaves on the bottom. This is pretty thin, so we'll see how well it does. And then I have 2 different boards that are technically 1/4 inch in material, but I bought them from 2 different suppliers. So this one, after measuring it with my calipers, this one is actually, let's see here, 5.4 millimeters, whereas this one that I got at Home Depot is about 6.6 millimeters. So I'm just going to use these 3 different thicknesses. So if you're wondering where I got these, I got the MDF from Laser Wood Supplies on Etsy. And actually, I think I got the 1/4 inch from Lasered by the Creek, and then this is from Home Depot. I just get stuff from everywhere. Anyway, so first I'm going to go ahead and cut out the florals, then I'll stack them to get a visual, and then I'll start shaping it. So let's go. with me here because this part gets a little trippy, okay? And I ended up cutting another sheet of 1/8 of an inch ply because I liked how it was piecing together better. So the first thing you're gonna do, well, in this case, I decided to keep this all together so that it would make piecing this together a little easier for me. But really what you're looking for, or what you're trying to create, is that dimension. So you're looking where, you know, some petals fall underneath other petals and you're trying to layer them over each other. So I'm going to start with my base layer here, and I'm just going to piece everything in together, and you'll see how it kind of comes together. So just give me a minute here while I think. Okay, I think we've got all of our pieces here. So this is the base layer. Now, if you're looking at this and you're a laser operator, you're probably thinking, well, why are you piecing it all together? We're going to actually end up gluing some of these pieces together, and we do that intentionally so that we can sand around it and get that that effect all around the petal. If I leave parts of it bunched, I can't really do that. So that'll make sense a little later. So now I'm going to go in with my second layer. This is going to end up being glued to this bottom piece here. Oops. There we go. And we'll shape it all as one. Okay, so I've got that there. Now this is my 1/8 of an inch, and this is the second 1/8 of an inch piece that I cut. Now remember, I had two different, and I'm sorry if I'm confusing you going back and forth between inches and millimeters, but remember how I had two different cuts of 1/4 inch that were actually not the same thickness, but when I put them together, I wanted a little more depth between the two of them. So just FYI. All right, so this is my thicker 1/4 inch. I'm going to put that here. And let's see how I did this. Okay, so if you look at this piece right here, you'll notice it should be as if this petal is falling over this one, right? So that's why I'm actually going to end up coming in here with another piece of my 1/8 of an inch so that it looks as if this petal is coming over this one here. I'm just going to go ahead and keep, oh, I forgot this leaf. Keep adding in my petals and my accents. Oh, I got another piece right here. Oops, there we go. Now I wanted this one to be above my leaf. See how it's over the leaf, but it needs to be under this one. Okay, so I like that thickness. I might leave it, or I can take in the other 1/8 of an inch that I cut and put it on top, and actually that looks good, so I'm going to leave it like that. See how this petal is underneath this one? And then I'm just going to keep doing that. Now, this one is over this one, but again, the thickness isn't enough for me. I want a little more. So I'm going to take this piece and do that there. And then I'm just going to keep doing that all the way around to make sure that I like the combinations that I've used. I'm kind of mixing and matching to get the dimension that I'm looking for. Okay, so far I really like how this is coming together. Now, you'll notice I kept the center all together for the center, just so that it would make glue up easier for me. But the top of this piece, I really want you to be able to see the dimension within the petals. So these are all cut separately because I want you to be able to see, I want to be able to sand in here so that it kind of has that depth to it. All right, so now that I'm happy with this setup, I'm going to go ahead and glue my stacked pieces together. And if you're curious, I want to say I cut 4 different sheets. The thickest sheet took me about 6 minutes, and the thinner ones were faster than that. So it didn't really take me too long to cut all of this at all. So now I'm just going to go in with my little squeeze bottle. I'm using Titebond Original Wood Glue. And I'm just going to go in here and glue my stacks together. And once that's done, I can go ahead, once it's dry, I can go ahead and start shaping it. So I've brought everything that I need out here to the garage, and I'm going to get to shaping in just a minute, but let's go ahead and talk about all of the different pieces. I'm really only going to use 3 bits. First, I'm going to use the abrasive band mandrel, and this one is really good for removing the most, material. So I'll probably use this on my thicker pieces, okay? Then there's also, this is called a sanding disc mandrel. So it actually pops off, okay? You can squeeze this together and then you can pop on your new disc when you're ready to replace it. And this is great for getting into like those fine areas, that are a little more fragile right here than my thicker parts, okay? And then lastly, I'm going to use, I have 2 ball bits here. The standard one and the small one. I'm going to be using the small ball bit, and I'm going to use this for the detailing of the vines and the petals within my floral. So these are the 3 bits that I'm going to use: the abrasive band mandrel, the sanding disc mandrel, and the small ball bit. Now with that said, we also have some different grits. So I'm going to be using the coarse grit for now. If I feel like I want to use something that's not as coarse, then I have medium sanding bands and fine. So I have fine, medium, and coarse for the sanding bands, and the same is true for the disc. I have fine, medium, and coarse. So that's pretty much everything I'm going to use. And I saw on Kendra's Got Wood that she likes to use, I have this here, a shop vac, okay? And you take a piece of, I have tulle, so that's what I used, or you can use pantyhose or whatever. And I'm going to keep this really close because then it's just going to suck up all the dust and I can keep my work area pretty clean. And I'm using a cheap shop vac that I got from Home Depot. So because I'm using the shop vac, I'm also going to be using some ear protection. These are my son's earmuffs that we got from a monster truck show we went to. So that's going to work. And now I'm going to go ahead and get to shaping and show you how I use the different attachments to create dimension in my flower.
Well, my laser friends, that's it for today. I hope you got something out of this footage. And what I loved about this video is you can see how far I've come, and I'll continue to go even further. So if you want to be here for that, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell button so you get videos every time I have a new one out. And I'll see you guys here soon over at That Mom with a Laser. Bye, guys.